Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 919, directed by Satoshi Ito, and supervised by Yusuke Isochi, Yukiko Nakatani, and Yuki Minagawa. After a long while away from the anime due to other projects, Yusuke Isochi and his Studio Guts are back on the One Piece anime, with their first episode back being primarily supervision-based and directed by one of the strongest regular directors in form of Satoshi Ito, whose knack for insanely atmospheric and impactful Nagamine-like direction has been powered up as of Wano. While I am definitely keeping my expectations tempered after last week's episode turned out to be not as good as I expected it to be, the very strong staff on board gives me hope that it will be a solid dialogue episode that shows the strengths of Ito and Guts. So will episode 919 rebound Act 2 early on? Well, let's get to work and find out. This episode covers the remainder of chapter 926, and while there are some extensions of content throughout the episode, I must say that I'm rather 50-50 on how the chapter was handled. While I absolutely love the first half, and enjoy the small but really fun added interactions between Nami and Shinobu in their attempted raid, I can't say that I'm really all that impressed with how the Udon stuff was handled. Sure, there were some little additions like seeing Luffy and Kid deflate and later beat up the jailer, but those small liberties just feel really awkward, and that's due in part to the second half mostly being concerned with adapting the manga one-to-one, making it a complete and utter slog and killing anything that the new additions were trying to go for. Sure, Ito's direction is certainly more on point than Hosoda's was last week in terms of atmosphere, and just being impactful in general, which does slightly elevate the rather ho-hum second half in spite of the weirdness of some of it, but there's a real disconnect between the two halves in terms of overall quality that I can't really ignore, which sadly makes 919 an episode of two halves for me as far as the manga coming to life is concerned. Much like the adaptation, Ito's board here is something that I'm quite half and half on. While the first half has some of his usual crazy good scale, along with some small but really nice visual cues during the Sanji Soba scene, with the addition of the cherry blossom petals being stupidly effective in regards to making Wano feel alive, the second half is just kinda okay. The sense of scale is just rather seldom found in it, and the small shreds of creativity that the first half had is swapped out for sticking close to the manga and repeating the same couple of shots, making it quite the disappointing effort from Ito all in all, but not something that is necessarily his fault. With three supervisors that hail from a different studio, and fast but less than stellar key animators like Masahiro Naoi doing a brunt of the work here, you can really tell that 919 was quite the rushed episode. One that had polished art at the very least thanks to the security blanket of having three supervisors and a chief supervisor, with Nakatani's brief expressive corrections being oh so nostalgic, and Isochi's art fitting right in line with Ichikawa's masses of work, but Ito didn't really have all the time in the world to put this episode together, which definitely shows on screen, and makes episode 919 a severely disconnected episode that could have been so much better if it had the right amount of time. Rushed episodes are sadly commonplace in weekly long-running anime like One Piece, due to the amount of staff and other episodes simply just being higher priority, so it's no surprise that we got one, especially after the 1-2 punch of 914 and 915, but it stings quite a bit considering the staff involved and how Act 2 has been already, making me quite curious to see how Yutaka Nakashima's episode 920 will end up faring next week. What's shown of the storyboard and direction looks very stylish and eye-catching, and it looks as if one of my favorite supervisors on the series, Masayuki Takagi, will be handling what is probably one of my favorite chapters in early Act 2. I'll certainly be going in cautiously optimistic after we've had both meh and rushed episodes to start off this act, so we'll just have to wait and see how it'll all turn out. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and I'm prepared for any Luffy and Kid Chungus memes that may come my way.